Hello and welcome to Pray and Prepare, episode number 7. I am Spexo. Let me just make sure the audio is correct. All right, we are back on Tuesday, June 20th. This is my first stream of the week. I'm trying to do this consistent streaming thing that's been going relatively decent so far. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it, but I had to take yesterday off, obviously, because it was Juneteenth, which is one of the most important holidays to me as an Irishman, and it really is just great that somebody finally had the courage to address America's dark past and bring light to this. And what do you know? An Irish Catholic finally gets into the Oval Office and makes the end of slavery a federal holiday. That's just good leadership, But I don't know. Juneteenth, I didn't know what it was. I literally had no idea what it represented. I remember hearing it had to do with slavery or something. I looked it up. It's not even about the end of slavery. It's celebrating June 19th, which is the day that I guess Texas or something freed the last slaves, but it was 2.5 years after their slaves were already freed. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I don't really care. I'm not the people that are saying oh, they're just pandering to blacks to give them a holiday and stuff like that. A lot of our federal holidays are satanic and are secular nonsense or whatever. The only holidays that should be federal are the federal holidays should align completely with the Catholic holy days, our feast days. That's what the holidays should be, holy days. But we don't live in a just society. So, but people complaining about it being a federal holiday will be the same people that think that MLK should have a national holiday and all the other secular nonsense that we celebrate. But Juneteenth is just a retarded word. It's a 4-year-old came up with that. It doesn't even make any sense. Teenth, there's only, what is it, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 7 words that end in teenth, right? Is when you're talking about a number between 13 and 19 in, what is it, the past tense? The past tense? Her 13th birthday, his 15th graduation. I don't know, he failed graduation a bunch of times. But it's so silly. And the thing about slavery is that it was bad, right? I'm against slavery because Catholicism is. We can be pro indentured servitude. I think that's where this episode could leave about is it's talking about why Spexo is pro indentured servitude. But slavery, cat chattel slavery or whatever it's called, not cool. Don't do it. But to be honest, America, this isn't a hot take or anything like that, but America had probably the best treatment of slaves of any other country, in the history of civilization. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there was brutality and I'm sure that bad stuff was happening and abuse was taking place, but it wasn't this Django Unchained paying slaves to fight to the death and all this nonsense. Slaves were thought of as property. If you want they were looked at as equipment, like tools. You want your tools in good condition. Why would you beat them and abuse them? Now I'm sure there's rare occurrences where that did happen. I remember reading about this psycho lady who was buying a bunch of slaves just to torture them and skin them, but she was a literal psychopath, and also why you shouldn't let women own slaves. All right, but that doesn't cover the whole topic of slavery in general. And also slavery, it's not unique to black people. I understand that it happened in America and stuff like that, but and it was wrong. But slavery has gone on throughout all of human history. There is no race that has unique claim to victimhood because of how they were treated in the past. The only people that really can't complain about anything is the Anglos, basically, and the Jews. But every other race has basically been oppressed by another race or culture or whatever in the past. So this idea that slavery is supposed to be this unique evil that we all need to constantly be reminded about is nonsense. Not to mention that the vast majority of white Americans now don't date back to the slavery era, or if they did, they weren't they didn't have ancestors that owned slaves. In fact, I read a statistic that said that like if you are a black American, you're more likely to have an ancestor that was a slave owner than a white American is, right? So no, it's just complete nonsense. My Spexo, my ancestry updated, and now I'm 1% Irish. Wow. All right. So I guess only 99% of you needs to go away. We're technically cousins. Oh, I guess. Okay, not reading that. What was I talking about? Slavery, Irish people. Yeah, like, so look at the Berber slave trade. Look at what's it called? The indentured servitude of Ireland from the Anglos because they refused to give up their Catholic faith and stuff like that. And chattel slavery is wrong, but slavery has always been a thing. And I'm not in favor of like racial slavery, but indentured servitude is like, I 100% believe that's what it should be. And it shouldn't, but I don't believe it should be like personal indentured servitudes. I think that like your indentured servitude should be punishment for committing a crime, right? And like, so that'll be part of your punishments, right? It's not like technically slavery. You're not like trading in humans and stuff like that. But I think indentured servitude is what we need. I hate the prison system that we have now because like it's too relaxed. People will go to prison just so they can have like a roof over their head and stuff like that now. Like, no, these people should be suffering. It should be punishments. I don't believe that prison should be rehabilitation. I think that's nonsense. So, yeah. Meatball Groiper, what's up? What else did I want to? Oh yeah, so like, but if slavery came back in any form, I think if I was a slave owner, I would be like a really good slave owner. And you know what? I'm trying not to like, like I don't want like a slave to like to be like working in the fields and like me abusing my slave. I want like a pet human, I want a pet human that has to be under me, and I discipline them like a midget. I want a pet midget that doesn't talk, that like I can adopt, but it's more of a pet. But like it'll have a muzzle on it so that like I don't want my daughters to think that it's too much of a human. And I would like take it on walks and stuff like that. I don't know where I'm going. Farms to jails, back to farms. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like when they came here, right? They were slaves, and a lot of them had bad conditions compared to others, but they were housed, they were fed, they were largely kept with their family. They went to church, it was Protestant church, but still, and a lot of them were taught to read. The literacy rate for blacks was higher than it is now, right? The what's it called? Two-child households were higher during slavery. Now, I'm not advocating saying slavery was better than now, but I'm saying that this idea that every slave was just living under these horrible conditions, and it's never really mentioned that like free black people owned slaves too. It's so silly. They like really we are being taught that the Holocaust and slavery are the only things that have ever happened in all of like American society. So silly. Yeah, but anyway, what I got stuck doing for Juneteenth was going to some little kid's birthday party, which is horrible. Is like it's becoming a parent and having to go to these places with other children makes you realize how much like you hate other people's kids. Like I can't stand being around other people's children, right? Because if I didn't have kids and I went out and somebody brought their kids or something like that, I'd be like, oh, hey buddy, oh, what's up? Oh, you're going to school? Blah, 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 blah. 5 minutes and I can give it back, right? But now when I bring my kids to some place where there's other kids, they want to hang out and they want to play and all this stuff. And I have to make sure that they're not being too rough and stuff like that. And then yesterday, my 2-year-old, there's a bouncy house. Nobody's in it. She goes in the bouncy house. I'm watching her from outside. All of a sudden, a bunch of kids that are like 3 years older than her go in and start bouncing. And she's like getting flown around. And I was like almost screaming at these other kids because like I had to get the kid out. So if you have a child, don't bring it around me, please. Because like I don't love them. I think Louis C.K. had a bit about this where he's like when somebody comes up to him with a kid or whatever and he's like, get away from me, I don't have to do anything with you, I don't love you, you're not mine or whatever. That's exactly how I feel on like a consistent basis. Like I just got the Valve Steam Deck thing because now I'm like an old man and that's I could literally only play video games for 5 minutes at a time on the go. Like, it's retarded. I spent so much money on all this gaming stuff. Like, once I like was established in my career and I was like a real adult and had like money and stuff like that, like I bought a super awesome gaming computer, and then I bought a PS5. I had a Nintendo Switch. I had all these gaming things. Never used them. Never have time to use them. It sucks. That's the one downside of like having responsibilities and like not just being a neat. Like don't get me wrong, part of me like is envious of like that neat lifestyle where like you could just do absolutely nothing but lay in bed and play video games all day and just contribute nothing to society and just be a complete waste of life. Is just, it makes me so happy. I don't know. I'm not. I feel like I'm coming off like I'm sounding like I'm in a bad mood, but I'm really not. I'm in a good mood. I really just don't like other people. You know, like, and then their parents who like, all their parents are like in their 40s and 50s. I'm 30. My wife is 26. Right. So we're not even like going to be talking to these parents and stuff like that. And I like, sometimes I wish climate change was real, because the idea, or the thought I should say, of the entire world just engulfing in flames and being destroyed makes me really happy. But I don't think that's going to happen. What else to talk about? By the way, as I said, if anybody's watching this for the first time, I have no idea what this is. I'm just literally just streaming to stream and trying to talk and stuff like that. If anybody wants to give me money, you should do that. It's powerchat.live/Spexo or something, because I really like money. What else? Oh, I just heard about this like an hour ago. Apparently, they were doing an expedition to the remains of the Titanic, which is like a boat that sunk like a couple years ago, and they apparently do these all the time. You go into this submarine and like it brings you down. You get to see like the shipwreck underneath the ocean, and they went down and lost contact or something, and they haven't found them in 3 days, and they don't have enough air supply, so it's likely that they're already all dead. And like, when you go down there, you have a certain amount of air, and because it's so deep, you have to go down in certain intervals so that your body adapts to the pressure. And if you go down too fast, it messes up, your body could explode or whatever, and you die. Same thing with going up. So now they get all the way down here and something goes wrong. Something must have happened where they lost contact and they can't move. So now they're just stuck in a bubble next to the Titanic rubble bars, and just running out of air, and they can't move the submarine, and they can't even try to escape the submarine, because if they open it, then the pressure is just going to collapse everybody and they're all going to die immediately. That sucks. That is a horrible, agonizing reality to live in. And definitely pray for some type of miracle, or pray that they went quickly or something, because that is just like miserable. Imagine going on like a vacation and you're going to do the whole James Cameron, like go in a submarine and see the Titanic and stuff like that. It's like this world famous thing that nobody gets to do or whatever. You can't wait to tell all your friends about it and show the pictures and stuff like that. It's going to be a once in a lifetime experience. And you get down there and then like it hits you like how real this is. Like, people died here. 3,000 people died thinking that they were going on vacation. It's heart-wrenching. You're seeing dolls from little kids and you're like, wow, imagine what they must have been going through knowing that they were about to die. And then they run out of air or fuel or whatever, and they can't do anything, and now they're just chilling, sitting in the bottom of the ocean, waiting for their air to run out so they can suffocate and die a slow, agonizing death. I don't like the ocean. I wouldn't want to be in the ocean. Yeah, that is. They spend $250,000 a person to commit suicide. What? Oh my goodness. Oh, they're all billionaires? Oh, never mind. Okay. Silver linings. I like my silver lining audience. Wouldn't it surprise me if it was on purpose to eliminate other billionaires? That's on the Titanic. Like, I remember reading about that, and apparently, it's been debunked or whatever. Highly doubtful. Apparently, 3 of the main billionaire people that wanted to establish the Federal Reserve, to, you know, where I guess that's like the creation of like the fiat money and why everything is debt based, and then after that, the gold standard got eliminated. But prior to that, when they were trying to establish the Federal Reserve, there was a bunch, like 5 or something main people, international Jewish bankers, I do believe. Maybe there was probably an Anglo or 2 sprinkled in there, like there always is. But 3 of like the 5 were vehemently against establishing the Federal Reserve, and the other two wanted to. Those three that were against it were on the Titanic and all died. And then a couple years later, the Federal Reserve was established, and now we live in a satanic country ran by pedophiles. Faith works. Faith alone works. Okay. Is that like some Protestant group chant or something? Maybe if you say it like a couple more times, it'll come true and you won't spend eternally burning in hell. So those people are screwed in the submarine thing, which I can't think of like a more... that's probably worse than being buried alive. I don't know, actually. So you're buried alive, you have no light, it's getting hot, and you're slowly running out of oxygen. And you're in a very confined space. Or you're in a submarine, and you have a view of two other people and the shipwrecked Titanic, and you're about to suffocate. I don't know. It's not faith alone. Faith alone... what? It's not faith alone. Faith works, but it's through faith. So true. Very true. Somebody said that they're getting the full experience. Yes, that's the full immersive 3D Titanic experience. Oh no, what happened? It might. Uh-oh. I hope my internet didn't go out. Something's not loading. Power chat's not loading. Oh. You freeze as you suffocate? What do you mean? If you're in a submarine... well, you mean like submarine is worse because you are also crushed under the immense pressure. No, but they're in the submarine and the pressure is regulated or whatever. They just can't move the submarine. And they can't leave the submarine because if they tried to swim, the pressure would collapse their entire body. Right? So it's not like they're down there and all of a sudden the pressure crushed them. They probably did what they had to do, where you had to go down and stay there for a couple hours, then go down further and further so that their body gets acclimated or whatever to the pressure. And now then they're down there and they can't get back up now. That's probably what happened. I don't know. But I just heard about this. And I didn't even know that was a thing, that you could like take an excursion. I guess it's not for normal people. It's $250,000. That's absolutely insane. What else? Oh, so John Miller posted a video the other day or yesterday, and it was that Toronto is apparently opening a restaurant where all the waiters are HIV positive. And gross, ew. And like, I guess it's to get rid of the stigma or something about HIV, or I don't know. But that's the equivalent of opening a strip club and all of the strippers have to have leprosy. It doesn't make any sense. It's a poor business model. And it's clear that it's just to obviously push an agenda, but that's just like a bizarre thing. It's a disease. Like we already kind of got rid of the stigma around HIV, because when it came out, everybody was thinking it was like the end of the world. Everybody was calling it like gay cancer and stuff like that. Nobody wanted to shake hands with anybody. Everybody was too afraid, as it should be. The AIDS fear and scare and how everybody was afraid to go around gay people and stuff like that because they thought that they would get AIDS. That's the world I want to live in. Anyway, and also, I think I already talked about that, how like I think curing AIDS is kind of like going against God, but whatever. But anyway, so that's when there was a stigma against HIV and AIDS. Now, like Magic Johnson made HIV cool, a bunch of different actors, Charlie Sheen, stuff like that, because now there's medicine that keeps them alive, unfortunately. But like, it still doesn't make sense why you would do this. You're trying to like, it's just weird. It's just bizarre. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because I don't want people with any type of illness like touching my food. That's disgusting. Like, what is the appeal to that? Like, oh yeah, let's go to the restaurant where the guy with the... Remember, do you ever see Scary Movie 2 where the guy has a little retard hand? It's like all like decrepit and crippled and stuff like that, and he's like mixing the mashed potatoes, and everybody's like, oh no, I don't want it. That's why. Why would you have a bunch of people that are the sexual equivalent to having a gross little hand? Yeah. Right. Okay. Why would you let them handle your food? I wouldn't want... That's absolutely disgusting. Not to mention that homosexuality in general should just be a crime, and these people shouldn't be in the restaurant business, they should be in like the license plate business in jail. But that's beside the fact. I just thought that was extremely bizarre. It's like, I don't know. It's like we're trying to get coming out and saying like, oh, we're gonna have a play where it's all women and they're all 8 months pregnant because we want to get rid of the stigma of women being pregnant on stage. It's like, okay, you mean the stigma that you got rid of 50 years ago? That's why I don't eat McDonald's. They don't wear gloves. I would if my McDonald's, if the only McDonald's around me was had chefs or food preparers that only had the Scary Movie 2 guy with the retarded hand making the food, I would still eat McDonald's. I don't care. McDonald's, it's just better. Papal? Yep. No. Or papal. It's rape, right? Rape is the right one, so it's papal. Hello. Hold on. What else? Oh. Another thing I saw. So here's what I did. Like, I forgot that I said that I was going to stream every day or whatever. So, like an hour ago, I was like writing down like random stuff and looking up things to possibly talk about. And one thing I saw was that I don't know if they're doing it or they're planning on doing it, but apparently there's like a big migrant crisis going down in New York City, and they've already emptied out hotels and put these immigrants in there. I don't know if these are the same ones that DeSantis sent from Florida or whatever, but they're putting them in hotels on the taxpayers' money, of course. They put them in a couple of firehouses, I heard, and now they're apparently saying that they're going to start offering people $125 a night, right? Is that what a night? Yeah, $125 a night to house these migrants, right? And I'm thinking like, I mean, obligatory just shows how insane everything is, but like I feel like there could be a scheme worked out there. I feel like if you got an apartment for $2,000 or whatever, and you put like 40 Mexicans in that apartment, right? Then you would be making a major profit, and you could just keep flipping migrants. Like, and that'd be a sick side hustle. What do you do? I flip Mexicans. Yeah, you gotta get into the Mexican business. Oh, that's awesome. But I would that's pretty sick though. Like you would yeah, $4,000 a month for one Mexican. So it's per person. That's what the article said. Now I don't know if this is true or not. So one Mexican equals $4,000 a month, right? Okay, so now Mexicans usually don't come in less than nines, right? Like there's always like a bunch of them, right? So that's 9 times 4. That's 18 plus 18 is 36, 360. 300, so I already messed that up. What were we saying? So 4 times 9 is 360. That would be like $36,000 a month. And for 9 Mexicans. 30. So I feel like they didn't think this through, or that something is going on. Because I don't really know. I'm not quite sure. Biggest issue by far is illegal immigration? No. The biggest issue by far is lack of Catholicism. Followed second closely by white genocide. Or actually, no, Jewish power probably comes first before that. Yeah, and then it's well, in America, it's all immigration, not just illegal immigration. So yeah, $432,000 a year per family if there was 9 Mexicans living with you. But I don't know like how it's gonna work. I want to really find that, because I guarantee somebody is gonna come up with a scheme to do that, where they are literally just moving dozens of Mexicans into tiny apartments to collect the money and then just dipping. That's crazy. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I really just don't understand how Manhattan works, because you look at some of these places. My friend used to have a pizzeria in Manhattan, and the rent was $10,000 a month. So if you want to open a business in Manhattan, not only do you have to like have know that it's going to be super successful or whatever, you already have to have mad money, and you have to be $10,000 like always ahead of the curve, and that's $10,000 is already coming out of your what you have to pay for rent, and not to mention all the supplies and everything else you have to go through. That's insane. I don't get how, like, and there's such crappy delis and restaurants and stuff in Manhattan. I don't know how these places are surviving and like spending mad money on rent. They're definitely not having that much business. It doesn't. I don't know. Guy in Texas who caught Mexicans crossing and he made them his slaves because he. Is that true? Did that happen? Huh. I want no, because the demographic issue still happens. But like, what if like they were like, all right, you can come in the country, but you have to be an indentured servant to an American family for 5 years, and then you can go in the country, right? I wonder. I'm sure there would be a lot of takers, right? And that would probably help the economy, free labor. But then again, the demographic issue comes. So, no, we're full. We just can't take anymore. Sorry. The last thing I wanted to talk about, though, and I almost forgot all about it. I talked a little bit, and I like barely mentioned it on Friday because I only saw brief like bullet points of it. I didn't really go all out and like go into detail of what was going on. But the Hunter Avallone situation is the most gross and depressing thing I've witnessed. Like, I can't believe these people exist. And I wonder that if it wasn't for the internet, we probably wouldn't know a lot of these people exist. I mean, you'd have like the Jerry Springer shows and stuff like that or whatever that you would know there was crazy people out there. But like the Ben Thorpes and the Hunter Avallones and these psycho random streamers that are like living very dysfunctional lives and publicly exposing themselves and their families online for people to see. Crazy. But, oh yeah, so Hunter Avallone, I did like a reaction video to Hunter Avallone like a year ago or something. And then, but for the people who don't know, I'm sure everybody knows the whole entire story by now, but Hunter Avallone used to be a milquetoast conservative YouTuber making videos. He got pretty popular in like 2016, 2017, being an anti-SJW type person or whatever. Fast forward, I don't know the full story, but he gets this girlfriend and gets in touch with Vosh, the glorified pedophile, and he has like a change of heart. So basically he got a girl and she was leftist, and basically she changed his mind, and then he started talking to Vosh and he just got worse and worse progressively, and now he's basically become this little twink liberal guy who copes on the internet all day and tries to argue conservatives, which it's clear that there's nothing sincere about his views, like, at all. Like, he doesn't, he wants to debate for the sake of debating as like a sport. And he just wanted to, I guess he thought it would be a good move to move towards leftism. And he also obviously did it for the girl too, which just shows that he has no real principles or morals. But even prior to the whole becoming a full-blown leftist thing, he was already super, super cringe, like horrific. So now he's like this leftist or whatever, and he's kind of like a punching bag to America First people, because like he's just such an easy target, and it's like anytime I want to feel bad for him, he just triples down on his excruciatingly cringe beliefs or ideas, and this is one of the worst things yet. Before this, it was the whole irony of this is that when people were making fun of Hunter Avallone, he would try to provoke a reaction out of people by like posting the picture of him with his Chrysler minivan, saying, the Groypers are coping and seething online while I live the trad life. I just bought my family a luxury Chrysler, right? And then naturally, everybody is like, "You're a fag," and that's really dumb. And then he goes on like the defensive, like, I just wanted to post a picture of the van in my family, and I don't know why everybody's attacking me. Like, why is everybody so mad about a van? Like, he does this thing where he purposely tries to provoke a reaction, and then when he gets a reaction, he plays dumb and plays like the victim, and never takes accountability or responsibility for anything. So every time that somebody calls him out on something pathetic or that he does, or something that maybe he should change in order to help himself and better himself in life, he always triples down and does it. And this is exactly what's happening now. So basically the story, from what I understand, is that Hunter Avalon and his wife made OnlyFans content. They made pornography on OnlyFans, which I did not know about. And that is, ew, gross, right? So first and foremost, not very traditional to shoot pornography and sell it on the internet. Secondly, like, you're obviously not doing this. This definitely wasn't your idea. All right. And unless like you, maybe it was, maybe he has like a humiliation fetish or something like that. But the fact that you even agreed to do that, first and foremost, is degenerate and disgusting. Then apparently they break up or they're getting divorced or something like that. Hunter tweets out that he's getting divorced, but he did it too quick, and then he deletes the tweet, and she didn't want to announce it because she didn't know if she really wanted to get divorced. So then he did it again. Then it was official that they were breaking up. And then apparently when they broke up, she was talking to a bunch of different guys on Discord, and people were offering her money to have pornography videos sent to them or something like that. Then this black guy makes a video and basically exposes a whole thing where he was a pornographic actor, and the girl, he started talking to the girl after they did like a political debate or something like that. And the girl, essentially, trying to say this without being too vulgar, she has a very strong desire to commit abominable acts with men who aren't her husband, who are specifically of the African American persuasion. And before you judge her because of that, I want everybody to know that, like, she has standards, okay? Because she said absolutely no peeing in her mouth, okay? And no poop at all right? They can pee on her, the African American gentleman, but not in her mouth, all right? Like, she has to draw the line somewhere, all right? You know, she's a lady after all, okay? So, now, first, when I heard this news, I was ecstatic. No, first when I heard this news, I was like, oh, this is like insane, embarrassing, but like a small part of me felt really bad for Hunter Avalon. Now, naturally, the only real person that I feel bad for is their child. I think they might have 2 children, actually. Horrible situation for them. Really, that is like the saddest thing about this. You know, if it was just 2 degenerates online, like, we could poke fun of them and laugh at them. Children are involved. It changes the whole story significantly. It's very, very sad. But also, he streams in his house, and he has smoked like a bong on stream in the same house that I would assume his children live with him. So, I mean, right there, I think that, like, you should probably be in jail for that. Anyway, so yeah, those are real victims. But I was feeling a little bit bad for Hunter. But then he did what he always does, and he completely doubled down once again on his degenerate, disgusting, pathetic behavior. He goes and puts this tweet. Let me see if I could actually pull this tweet up real quick, because it is just so good. It's so like okay, so picture imagine you're in his position, okay, and it just got, like, beyond reasonable doubt proven that your wife or, okay, your soon-to-be ex-wife is, like, talking bad about your performance to other men. And not only that, she wants to engage in degenerate activities with numerous other men, specifically black guys, right? And everybody just found this out. Also, you used to be a conservative, and then you radically turned to liberalism. Not only that, you were a radical liberal who mocked people who advocated for the traditional life and said that you were more traditional than your haters because you had a wife and kids and a luxury minivan. Now, your wife is engaging in degenerate activities with men of the African American persuasion. So, what do you think his response was? I don't know. So he deleted a lot of them, but his tweet was, I deleted all my tweets because I didn't need to contribute to the fire or furthering of falsehoods. Here's the true chain of events. 1. Wife and I both agreed to do some OnlyFans crap together. Okay, you're a degenerate, sick freak. This included her sending some photos and messages to people for the business. Pause, stop right there. Okay. They both agreed to do some OnlyFans stuff together. This included her sending some photos and messages to people for the business. So this is the justification that why she would be sending naked pictures of herself to other guys, right? Like, no, it's like we agreed to do OnlyFans and she was just like sending her private parts to other guys because like it was just like a business thing. Bruh, OnlyFans, the whole point of an OnlyFans thing is that it's not like works like a business. You're your own boss. You can put your own content out there, right? That's why all these porn stars are making OnlyFans and all these girls are being incentivized into becoming whores because they're making so much money for themselves and they don't have to go through production companies and agents and all of that nonsense. That's the actual incentive. So there's no justifiable reason for why, if you and her were choosing to do OnlyFans, she would ever need to send naked pictures to other people prior to that actually happening. You are coping and seething. I genuinely don't see anything wrong with effing my wife and making money while doing so. Okay. Well, it's not like you're making money because of that. You're making money because people want to see your wife doing that stuff. Okay? People are using your wife for their degenerate, lustful desires, and you're okay with that. Not to mention, this girl isn't even hot. Like, I was let down. I don't remember ever seeing her. Maybe I've seen her in streams that I watched or something. I had no idea what she looked like, right? I look her up, and she deleted all her, like, porn stuff, apparently, because iHypocrite did, like, an expose about her or something, and she deleted all of that stuff, but there was still, like, profile pictures of her or whatever, right? So I took one of the pictures and I was like, wait a second. I was like, I sent it to my chat. I was like, is this his wife? And they were like, yes. She's like 24 years old and she has the body of a 64-year-old soccer mom of 12-year-olds, right? Like, I don't know. That would be too old for a 12-year-old. I don't know. Maybe she did IVF in this hypothetical situation, but that's what her body looks like. She simultaneously looks like a 64-year-old woman and a soccer mom at the same time. Like, it's just, her proportions are not desirable whatsoever. She does have like a stereotypical like black guy's girlfriend's body type, like snow bunny, right? That's what they're called, snow bunnies. European women who like African American men, right? I think so. I think they're called snow bunnies. I think I've heard some black guys say, I need to get me a snow bunny. So yeah. So she does that, right? Oh, let's continue. So he doesn't have a problem. He doesn't see anything wrong with him effing his wife and making money while doing so. Only insecure betas think otherwise. That's right. Only insecure betas wouldn't want other men, anonymous strangers on the internet, to see naked pictures of their wife. Yeah. If you're not sexually exploiting your wife for other guys to please themselves to, then you're just like an insecure beta. 2, we set clear boundaries. We set clear boundaries, which were no physical contact with other men. I remain the only man seen in the leaked OnlyFans content, and this boundary was never violated the duration of our marriage. Oh, wow, she must have really loved you. You know, that's good. It's good to have boundaries in marriage. You know, that it's great that like the woman you married like wasn't going to physically cheat on you with other men. She was just going to, you know, put your sex tapes out there. That's the trad life. 3, unrelated to the OnlyFans stuff, we formally agreed to separate after discussing the idea for the last year and a half. We formally agreed to separate after discussing the idea. So you were discussing the idea of, wait, hold on. Unrelated to the OnlyFans stuff, we formally agreed to separate after discussing the idea for the last year and a half. The idea of separating or the idea of OnlyFans? Because if it's, you need to like fix your grammar. Because if you formally agreed to separate after discussing the idea, so that's going to make me think that you're saying the idea to separate. So you were discussing the idea of separating for a year and a half, and then you did it formally? What does that even mean? Like, were you just like on the couch, hey, you think we should get divorced? And she was like, I don't know, like asked me like in a week or so or whatever. The next week came like, hey, so are you want to marry? Still stay married or divorce? And like, I mean, we can get divorced, but like, nah, I don't know. Ask me next week. Like it just kept going on, and then like they had a formal thing. Like he slid an envelope under her door. Please meet me in the dining room in an hour, and they came down in suits, and they formally discussed divorcing. What does that even mean? 4 days later, I briefly announced it. I guess that they were getting divorced. This, yeah, this is maybe the biggest L I've ever seen a man take. Yeah, the downward spiral of Hunter Avalon is probably the most insane thing I've ever witnessed on the internet. I mean, Chris Chan, something was just expected to happen with him, obviously. The only person, it's not even a person, it's a fictional character. The only person that has the equivalent level of like degradation and like downfall as Hunter Avalon is Cricket from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like Hunter Avalon was a relatively decent looking kid. Now he's like, he gained a lot of weight, his skin sagging, he looks like a melted action figure of himself. Like it looks like somebody made it a Hunter Avalon action figure and like held it over a hot flame until the plastic was dripping and then let it dry, and that's the results that we now have of Hunter Avalon. And it's sad, you know, it really is. So what else? Let's continue. Okay, 4 days later, I briefly announced it. 5, Carissa only expressed interest in other sexual endeavors after we had both agreed to separate and see other people. Wow, that's nice of her. That's really good. And also, obligatory, they were, I think that they were married in a church. It might have been Protestant, but if they were properly married, then they technically are still legitimately married in the eyes of God. So 1, they're not divorced. They're still married. And 2, after they separated but not divorced. So after they said, oh, we're going to separate, and she said, okay, that's when she started showing sexual interest in other men. And let's also not just breeze by that, oh, her showing interest in other men is her filming herself getting peed on by a group of black guys. Yeah. That's what I think of when I hear that somebody's sexually interested in someone. Whenever my friend's like, yo, that girl's so hot, I'm always like, really? You want to get a group of your friends to pee on her on camera? That's always what I'm thinking when I see somebody who's sexually interested in somebody in sexual endeavors. 6, nobody left anyone for anyone else. If this happened, Carissa and I wouldn't have remained roommates and amicable throughout this process. The plot thickens. They broke up, they separated, but they became roommates. So now the woman you married doesn't want to be with you anymore. You guys separate, but you're living in the same house. You're coping by saying it's your roommate and just living it. She's probably going out with other guys, bringing them home into your house, into your bed, because there's no way that you took the bed and she took the couch. Let's be real. And you're probably just in there like oh, I kind of feel bad, but you like deserve it, dude. Like I imagine that you were just on your couch, like silently crying, like Denzel Washington in that Slave movie where he's just stoically looking out into the distance while a tear streams down his face as you hear your wife just that. Woo. Oh man. Let's continue this. Sorry, keep getting sidetracked. But it's good that at least she didn't break up with him. It was a mutual decision for them to break up so she can get peed on by black guys. 7. After legal action was threatened, the initial video spreading the falsehoods and rumors was deleted by the uploader. He has since acknowledged he had misunderstood the situation. So what? He admitted falsehoods? I didn't see a video of him admitting any falsehoods. And what part were false? Because I can guarantee you that all of the Discord stuff was not false. He was literally leaking naked pictures of his wife in Discord, and it's just, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah, falsehoods. 8, due to the fact that the photos were meant to be anonymous, and the video uploader attached a legal name but blurred to the blurred but still visible photos. Okay, so you're admitting that they were real. So he's spreading falsehoods, but you're admitting that the pictures were real. So, okay, this is legally revenge porn, as to the intent of the video was to malign and harass, plus the sender of the photos had a reasonable expectation of privacy. 9, despite the video being deleted, the damage has been done and all the evidence has been saved and handed over to law enforcement. 10, it's creepy how obsessed with my personal life y'all are. 10, so in response real quick to number 10, you put your personal life out there, right? Or rather your ex-wife did, but you've been doing this thing for years where, you like have been a public figure. So you cannot, and with the history of everything else, you cannot legitimately expect people to not berate you and make fun of you for something so insane happening to you, especially with your attitude about it. Like this whole pompous, this doesn't bother me, cope attitude is not fooling anybody, dude. It's... At the end of the day, this has taught me a valuable lesson about how quickly rumors can spread and how fast many people are willing to throw you under the bus. This has also taught me to be even more sparing with the people whom I trust. I know regardless of my words, the uploader retracting his video, my ex-wife's account of things contradicting the rumors, and the clear violation of law, people who hate me will continue to hate me. People will continue to tell me I'm in denial or that I'm coping because they're coming from an emotional place of hatred for me, rather than a genuine respect for the truth. This is the final time I'll be engaging with this on Twitter. Thanks for reading. P.S. Tyrone and Jamal were only her friends. So, what that was it is coping and then like projecting in order to not take responsibility. Like people are just going to say that I'm coping and being pathetic, right? Like people are going to say everything that's 100% accurate and true. And then he tries to make like this self-deprecating joke at the end, and it just falls so poorly, because before seeing this, my reaction was like, ooh, I feel bad. I wonder if he's going to have an actual human reaction for once. And nope. Like, this would never happen to me, because if my wife ever cheated on me, I would immediately decapitate both of them, kidnap my kids, and move to Argentina. But if I was ever in this type of situation, and I was a content creator like that, I would not address it publicly at all, or I would release a very small statement saying that a private issue has become public against my wishes. I am not going to confirm or deny anything, and just wish that you would respect my privacy, and then never mention it again. Nobody needs to know your personal business. It's bizarre to me how people are just so willing to put insanity of themselves on the internet. It makes no sense, Like I understand like streaming and having a talk show or a podcast or something like that, but like this type of stuff when the drama involves your family, dude, it's like, get off the internet and like take care of your stuff. Like, what are you doing? But once again, can't feel bad for him, because he just triples down. He honestly cannot bring himself to get rid of his pride and be like, okay, this is bad. My life has got out of control, and it's clearly a result of the horrible decisions I've been making for the last 7 years, right? So that path of like becoming progressively more and more leftist, and really only doing so because of the girl, right? So see, here's what I think happened. I think that it's a total classic case of being a total simp and not being able to be, a dominant male person, that you met this girl, right? And you wanted her to like you or whatever. So she was liberal or whatever. So you started to be more open-minded or whatever. Then you knew that she wasn't going to allow you to be conservative or whatever. So you became liberal, and you wanted to teach yourself about liberalism or whatever, even though you deep down really didn't believe any of it, but it got you a girl. It was easier to navigate on the internet without getting banned and stuff. It got people talking, right? It added traffic, because now even if they're making fun of you, more people are more impressions are being had and stuff like that, even though your YouTube has been hemorrhaging subscribers now for years, ever since you became liberal or whatever. But I mean, I guess that's just another thing you could add onto the stack of negative consequences, that your YouTube is doing horribly. And now you're about to be a, however old you are, 20-something-year-old guy, divorced, who's catalyst for the separation and divorce and the degenerate insanity of the pornography and sexual nature of everything has been immortalized on the internet forever. Now that's going to be something that in the future your children's going to like look up, right? That's just like something people should really think about, like what you're putting on the internet, like your children are going to be able to like find one day, right? So I don't know where that's going, but Hunter just seems like he's not learning any type of lesson. He has no sense of accountability. He'll never like admit that he was wrong, and it's past the point of being sad where you can feel bad for him now. Now it's just really, really pathetic, and he's basically just a lolcow punching bag at this point. I still feel really bad for his kids, and I hope that they end up in a good place. But yeah, Hunter is an insane person. All right, let's see. Oof. Well, my internet is not loading. There we go. Yeah, Hunter living the sad life now instead of the trad life. So true. Are they still alive down there? I heard they have 96 hours or something. Well, they're on day 3, which is 24, 48, 72. I don't know. They might be doomed. And if it might not even be about that, because if they had a certain amount of air and they went down and then they got stuck for a certain amount of time, then that'll mess up the air, and they might not have enough to even make it up if they even got the submarine working. So it looks like they're kind of just screwed. Who are you? What's going on here? Hello. What else? All right. Yeah, I think that's it. I made it to just about an hour, a little less maybe, but I think that's good for now. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you probably tomorrow. I think I'm gonna stream tomorrow. The air should have ran out by now. Just saw on Twitter. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the end of the show. Everybody's coming in now that it's over. You guys can catch the replay.